Welcome. I'd like to talk to you about part of a book in the Bible called the Book of Revelation. It's the last book in the Bible, and its theme is, if you like, the close of history. Just as the book of Genesis starts in eternity and tells us the story of the evolution of the cosmos and mankind from a moral point of view, and tells us, if you like, where we've come from, so the book of Revelation tells us the close of history and where we are going. I'm not going to try to expound the whole book. This would be a rather long video if I did. I really want to talk to the church just about one part of one chapter, and that is chapter 14. But first I need to give a bit of context. In chapter 13, in the picture language of the book of Revelation, we are told about a creature, the beast. And in the picture language of biblical apocalyptic literature, animals are used to represent powerful empires or political entities. And the beast represents clearly a very great world power. Now, this beast has certain characteristics. It wages war on the saints, it overcomes them, it beheads people, it has the authority to wage war somewhere, we're not told where exactly, although it's hinted, for a period of 42 months. Now, if you are like me, somebody with a slightly mathematical bent, you quickly work out that 42 months is 1277 years or thereabouts, because months vary in length. Now, question is, where has there been in human history some event where an entity has had the authority to wage war for 1277 years or thereabouts? And very quickly you realize that when Muhammad, and the last command that he gave to his slave who led his armies to attack the region of Palestine, that region was conquered in the year 640 AD. In the year 1917, the British and Commonwealth Army, led by General Allenby, conquered Palestine from the Turks in the year 1917. The difference in time is 1277 years. Equally, the Bible talks of another period of 42 months in which the city was trampled, and the implication is it's trampled by the beast. In the year 690, the the Dome of the Rock on the Temple Mount was finished. This is the golden dome that you always see of pictures of Jerusalem, and is the principal landmark of the city. And that city was ruled by Muslims until the Six-Day War, when it was freed in the year 1967. So there is another 1277 years or thereabouts. And so we can identify the beast unambiguously, both by its behavior and by these two time periods, as Islam. Now, in chapter 13, it's clear that the church has a problem with Islam because it's being overcome by it. And the question is what to do about it. Chapter 14 gives us the answer. In the narrative, we are told of 3 angels. The first angel effectively preaches the gospel, and it commands all men everywhere to fear God, who is the maker of heaven and earth. And it reminds us that as a church, we need to constantly proclaim the gospel. And in our gospel, it is important that we affirm, we indeed reinstate God as creator. And it's important we believe that, because if we understand God to be our creator, it naturally begs the question, why did he create? And of course, we know the answer to that in Jesus Christ. He created us so that we could be saved from our sin, and so that we could be his people and he could be our God. If you remove creation from the gospel narrative, it starts to lose its sense. The second angel then tells the church not to take the mark of the beast. And the mark of the beast is explained in the preceding chapter as some mark that is going to be imposed on almost everybody, and that people won't be able to buy or sell without it. Now, I think it's clear from a wider review of the book of Revelation, and apologies, I don't have time to go into that now, that certainly in the lifetimes of many people, and I'm making this video in 2015, that we will see the mark of the beast come as an instrument of some kind of control of population internationally as a result of an international crisis, probably a nuclear one. Now, we are told very clearly that for Christians to take the mark of the beast is forbidden. In fact, if we take the mark of the beast, we are no longer Christians. Why is that? Because we submit to the world authority, and that world authority leads us away from Christ, because it does not submit to Christ. And time and again we're told that Jesus is Lord of Lords and King of Kings, and that ultimate rule and ultimate authority belongs to him, and that governments and rulers are here as his representatives, not as his replacement. And we're entering a time, I believe, when governments cease to understand their role as representing Christ and instead seek to supplant him. Indeed, it is already happening. So, to do that, Christians need to focus on being economically independent, not as individuals, but as a community. And we need to be joining links with each other so that that is possible. That is a big project and we don't have a lot of time. But I invite you to consider it, and in your personal and church lives, find ways of doing that. Ask yourselves what you would do if you're not allowed to buy or sell as an individual. Think it through, find local solutions. The third angel tells us this: we're not to bow down to the beast, and we're not to bow down to the dragon. What does the dragon represent in the picture language of the book of Revelation? It's very simple. It represents Satan. Or it represents Satan, who himself represents himself as a false god, somebody other than the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That part of Scripture also tells us not to bow down to the beast, not to submit, therefore, if I'm right in my explanation, not to submit to Islam. For hundreds and hundreds of years, ever since the Pact of Omar, Christians have been required to submit to Islam in its various dictates. I actually believe that's wrong. I actually believe we should be made of sterner stuff. I actually believe that we should not submit. We submit to Christ. And when a man-made authority acts in a way that calls good evil and evil good, it is no longer a government, and we're not required to obey it. Will that result in conflict? Sure. But sometimes conflict is necessary in order that right may prevail. So Christians have a threefold duty, a threefold strategy, if you will, for these days. One, preach the gospel and make sure that we understand God as its creator. If you want confirmation of that, watch the video that I made about creation. Secondly, become economically independent. Don't be so dependent on the world's economic systems. Its dependence on fossil fuels. The book of Revelation tells us that God will destroy those who are destroying the earth. The environment does matter, and we need to watch and see what we're doing to the environment and not contribute to that evil. God has given us the earth as a home to live in. Let's not wreck it. And thirdly, let us together around the world say no to being subservient to Islam. Islam will seek our subservience. Let's not give it to it, because when it comes to essential issues like God, love, humanity, I believe that the Bible is right, and I believe that Islam is wrong. So let's be true to what we believe. Let's be true to what we hold to be true. God bless you.